The courtroom was silent. The judge's gavel echoed like a thunderclap as Marcus Johnson, a man who had spent his life helping others, stood shackled, facing a life sentence for a crime he didn't commit. But just as the judge prepared to announce his fate, two young adults burst through the doors. "Your Honor," one of them cried. "We have proof. This man is innocent." The room gasped. Nobody knew who they were. But Marcus did. Because 20 years ago, those two strangers were homeless children on the streets, and Marcus, a young black man with nothing to his name, took them in when the world had abandoned them. Now, they were here to save his life. It was a freezing winter night in Atlanta. Marcus Johnson, 27 years old, sat on the cracked steps of his apartment, staring at the empty streets. He worked double shifts at an auto repair shop, barely making enough to survive. Life had never been easy for him. Then, under the flickering street lamp, he saw them. Two small figures huddled beneath a broken bus shelter, a boy and a girl, maybe 8 and 6, shivering in the cold. Marcus hesitated at first, but when he heard the faint whimper of the little girl, something inside him shifted. He crossed the street and crouched in front of them. "Hey, y'all okay?" he asked softly. The boy pulled his sister closer. "Please, don't hurt us," he whispered, his voice trembling. Marcus' chest tightened. "Nah, little man. I ain't here to hurt nobody. What's your name?" The boy hesitated, then whispered, "Ethan." He pointed to the little girl. "This is Lily." Marcus looked at them, thin, pale, scared, and knew he couldn't walk away. He gave them his jacket and said, "Come on. Y'all can stay with me tonight." Ethan's eyes widened. "Why would you help us? You don't even know us." Marcus glanced at the stars, his voice low. "Because when I was your age, ain't nobody helped me. And I swore I'd never let anybody else feel that alone." That night, Marcus became their protector. Marcus' apartment was tiny, 1 bedroom, a couch, and a kitchen barely big enough for 2 people. But he made it work. He gave the kids his bed and slept on the couch. Over the next few days, he learned their story. Their father had abandoned them, and their mother, lost to addiction, disappeared one night and never came back. They'd been on the streets for weeks, sleeping wherever they could. Marcus considered calling child services, but when he saw the terror in Ethan's eyes, he knew he couldn't. He wasn't going to let them get separated. So he became their family. It wasn't easy. Marcus worked extra hours, sometimes skipping meals so the kids could eat. He helped Ethan with homework, taught Lily how to read, and saved every penny for their school supplies. One night, Ethan hugged him and whispered, "You're the only dad we've ever had." Marcus' throat tightened. He didn't have much, but for the first time in his life, he had a purpose. But the outside world wasn't as forgiving. One day after school, Ethan came home in tears. "Some kids, they called you names," he said softly. Marcus froze. "What kinda names?" Ethan hesitated, then whispered, "They said we shouldn't be living with you, because you're black." Marcus took a deep breath and knelt in front of him. "Listen to me, son. People gone hate what they don't understand. But it don't matter what color I am, and it don't matter what color you are. What matters is we take care of each other. You hear me?" Ethan nodded, wiping his tears. Lily hugged Marcus tightly and whispered, "We love you, Marcus." In that moment, Marcus realized something powerful: family isn't blood, it's choice. Years passed. Ethan and Lily grew into smart, talented teenagers. Life was still hard, but they had each other, and Marcus had given them hope. Then one night, Troy Bennett showed up. Troy was an old childhood friend of Marcus. Back in the day, they'd been inseparable. Until Marcus chose an honest life and Troy went deep into the streets, hustling drugs and running with gangs. "Been a long time, Marcus," Troy said, leaning against the garage door, his leather jacket soaked from rain. Marcus frowned. "What do you want, Troy?" "I need 10 grand, Troy said coldly. "And you're gonna help me?" Marcus shook his head. "I ain't got it. I got responsibilities." Troy leaned in close, his voice low and threatening. "Then you better find a way. 'Cause if you don't, maybe I start talking about things from back in the day. Things you don't want those kids to know." Marcus' jaw tightened. "I ain't getting involved in your mess, Troy. Not now. Not ever." Troy smirked. "We'll see." 2 weeks later, before sunrise, Marcus was woken by pounding on the door. "Police. Open up." Within seconds, officers stormed in, guns drawn. Ethan and Lily, now in college, ran out of their rooms, terrified. Marcus was handcuffed on the spot. The charge? Armed robbery and attempted murder. According to the police, Marcus had robbed a jewelry store the night before. Witnesses claimed to have seen him flee the scene, and when they searched his car, they found a bag of stolen jewelry in the trunk. Marcus realized immediately what had happened. Troy had set him up. The courtroom was packed. The prosecutor painted Marcus as a wolf in sheep's clothing, a man who pretended to be a role model while secretly living a double life. Troy sat in the back, smirking, knowing his plan was working. The judge's words were heavy. "If convicted, Mr. Johnson, you face life imprisonment without parole." Ethan clenched his fists. Lily cried silently. But they weren't giving up. Ethan, now studying law, took matters into his own hands. He spent nights digging through court documents, security footage, and police reports. Lily used her art school contacts to reach out to journalists and activists. After weeks of searching, Ethan finally found it. A grainy traffic cam video showing Marcus' truck parked at home during the time of the robbery. But that wasn't enough. They needed more. Ethan tracked down one of Troy's crew members, a nervous man named Rico. After hours of pressure, Rico broke down and confessed. Troy planned the robbery and planted the stolen jewelry in Marcus' car. This was the breakthrough they needed. Ethan and Lily presented the new evidence in court, the video, the confession, and witness statements proving Marcus' innocence. Ethan stood before the judge, his voice trembling but strong. "Your Honor," he said, 20 years ago, this man saved our lives when no one else would. And today, we're here to save his." The entire courtroom went silent. The judge reviewed the evidence, took a deep breath, and finally said, "This court finds Marcus Johnson not guilty on all charges." Gasps filled the room. Lily burst into tears. Ethan hugged Marcus tightly. Troy. He was arrested moments later. Justice had finally been served. Life changed after that day. Ethan became one of the most respected defense attorneys in the country, specializing in wrongful conviction cases. Lily became a world-renowned artist, using her platform to raise awareness for homeless children. And Marcus? He finally opened his own auto repair shop, but this time, it doubled as a youth outreach center, giving troubled kids a chance to learn skills and stay off the streets. One evening, standing outside the shop, Marcus looked at Ethan and Lily and whispered, "I saved y'all once, but in the end, you saved me, too. This isn't just a story about injustice. It's about kindness, sacrifice, and how a single act of love can change lives forever. Sometimes, the people we save are the ones who save us in return."